Legend of Yufei Chapter 5.
And Yufei's master, Zhu Tong, asks him pretty directly, why aren't you going to the imperial examination?
Just like that, a simple
She
question.
had a direct question. And Yufei's answer. It's maybe not what you'd expect from someone who becomes this huge general.
No, definitely not.
He tells Zhu Tong, look, his three sworn brothers, they're from rich families, they've got the gear bows, horses, nice clothes, all set.
Right?
But him, Yufei admits the text says, yeah, basically ragged, shabby. He doesn't have money for a horse.
Wow.
So his plan was just
Right.
wait for the next exam.
And that detail, it's so humbling almost. It reminds you that even someone with immense potential can get stopped by something as basic as not having a horse or the right outfit. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, how many potential heroes, maybe throughout history or even right now, just get stuck because of a practical hurdle like money, not because they lack talent, but just circumstances.
Yeah, it really humanizes him. Pulls him right off that pedestal.
Totally.
So Zhu Tong hears this. And what does he do? Does he lecture? Does he get upset?
Nope.
No. He just nods. Like,
Mhm.
okay, I get it. And then he just says, follow me.
That fast. No judgment, no big speech, just action.
It's so quick, so decisive. Tells you a lot about him as a mentor, I think.
Absolutely. It's about seeing the problem and moving straight to a solution.
And then, just as direct, he takes Yufei to his bedroom, opens a chest. Again, no drama.
No ceremony.
Just immediate practical help.
And this is where it really turns, isn't it? He's not just offering sympathy like, oh, that's too bad. He's offering an actual solution.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful example of practical mentorship. Seeing the potential despite the current problem, he doesn't just feel bad for Yufei, he acts. And it's not about grand gestures. It's about finding and removing that specific practical block.
So what's in the chest? He pulls out three things, very specific. First, a Bulwaropa plain white robe, but it's half new, half old.
Interesting detail, that half new, half old.
Yeah. Then oleo, a big piece of red brocade, and finally, a large red phoenix sash.
Okay.
But it's not just handing over the stuff. He gives really precise instructions.
Okay, so it's not just here you go.
No. He says, take the robe home. Your mother needs to alter it into a battle robe for you and use the leftover cloth for a headscarf.
Resourceful, using every bit.
Exactly. And the red brocade, make a vest and arm guards or sleeves. The red sash ties it all together.
Got it.
And then the really crucial part, he says, oh, and I'll lend you Wang Yanwai's horse. A horse that had been given to him, Zhu Tong.
So it's a borrowed horse and a hand-me-down altered robe,
Right. It's not like he magicked up a perfect new set of gear.
which is fascinating.
Okay, so Yufei gets his gear. Humble, practical. Then his three brothers show up, and the contrast, wow, couldn't be more obvious. They are the image of the rich warrior. All flash, and as we'll find out, maybe not so much substance. This is where it gets really interesting visually. So first, you've got Tang Kuai. He's wearing this plain white baojin, the head covering, with a big red peony on it, a plain white embroidered battle robe, red silk shoulder piece, the red Zoxiu arm coverings, silver belt, black boots. Very detailed descriptions. Then Zhang Xin turns up. He's all in green satin. Green satin baojin with a peony green satin embroidered robe. Red silk shoulder piece again, red Zoxiu, but a soft gold belt this time, and silver-soled green satin boots. Quite the look. And finally, Wang Yi. He sounds the most flamboyant. Large red battle robe, large red baojin, but with a white powder group flower. Large red silk shoulder piece, large red Zoxiu, a red gold soft belt, and golden yellow satin boots. The source literally calls him fire charcoal from head to toe, and apparently he had a red face to match. It's quite a description.
It really is. And you have to ask, why focus so much on what they're wearing? The text points it out directly with that saying. Modium, poor scholar, rich warrior. It perfectly captures the social norms back then. Military hopefuls, especially from moneyed families, they put a lot into their appearance. It wasn't just about looking the part. It was a projection of status, of family power, and their own assumed ability.
Trying to impress before lifting a finger.
So these flashy brothers, they invite Zhao Dong and Yufei to join them. They've got this big wine tent set up for food. They clearly expect everyone to head over to the exam together. But Zhao Dong, he has other ideas, a plan that kind of subtly sets Yufei apart and hints at his superior skill. He politely turns them down, tells the boys, look, if the magistrate asks where Yufei is, just say he's coming along shortly. And when Wang Yi pushes, like, why won't he come with us now? Xiaodong's reason is brilliant. He says essentially, your elder brother's bow is much harder to draw. Testing together wouldn't really show off your skills properly, so I told him to test separately. And this is where Zudong's tactical mind really shines, isn't it? He's not just funding Yufei, he's actively managing his presentation. He's making sure Yufei's talent gets the spotlight it deserves. By having him test separately, well, a couple of things happen. One, he avoids a direct comparison that might, frankly, embarrass the brothers and expose their weaker skills. And two, he ensures Yufei's exceptional ability is seen clearly on its own terms, not drowned out by all their fancy but ultimately superficial gear. It's textbook strategic positioning.
Okay, let's jump forward. We're at the examination grounds now in Nohong County. The source paints this picture of a really bustling scene, a human mountain, human sea, it says. Full of vendors, tea stalls, wine shops, total buzz. The county magistrate Li Chun arrives, takes his seat, the exam starts. They're calling names, comparing arrow skills first, then checking bow strength and horsemanship. And from their quiet spot in the tea stall, Zhou Dong and Yufei are just listening. The air is filled with this sound. Chi-chi, the text says. The sound of arrows flying through the air. Whirring, maybe. But then Zhou Dong just smiles. Yufei asks him why, and his master delivers this killer line that reveals everything. What's the core of what he noticed?
Ah, yeah, this is great. Xiaodong's observation is so sharp. He basically says to Yufei, my son, listen, all these guys comparing arrows. You hear the sound of the bowstring, the sound of the arrow flying, but you don't hear the sound of the drum. Isn't that funny? And that drum sound, that's the key. It means the thud, the impact of an arrow hitting the target hard and true. Precision, force. So what Xiaodong is pointing out very subtly is that despite all the expensive outfits, the fancy horses, these wealthy candidates, they're all sizzle, no stake, all show, no skill. They're shooting arrows, sure, lots of chi-chi sounds, but they're not hitting the mark. Not effectively, anyway.
It's just such a powerful metaphor, isn't it? Substance totally trumping style.
Right into the middle of this significant event, a military test run by the county magistrate, Li Chun.
Yeah, and he's specifically looking for talent.
He is, but the text tells us he's initially pretty underwhelmed. The first batch of candidates, not quite cutting it.
Right, so they're not meeting his expectations. He actually calls out for Yufei first, but gets no answer. So instead, he calls for Tong Kuai, Zhang Xian, and Wang Yi. They step forward.
And this is where things start to get interesting. The bar gets raised.
It does. Tong Kuai steps up and basically says, Sir, could you move the target further back?
And the magistrate's like, it's already 60 paces, why further? He's surprised.
But Tong Kuai insists.
And
then it keeps going.
it does. The magistrate agrees to 80 paces. Then Zhang Xian asks for it to be even further. So, okay, 100 paces.
And Wang Yi pushes it again, even further.
You can almost picture the magistrate sort of amused but impressed by their confidence. He finally says, all right then, set it at 120 paces.
Yeah, it's this rapid escalation. It's not just about the distance. It signals these three are, well, a different caliber.
Absolutely. And their performance, it totally lives up to it.
The source describes it beautifully.
Ah.
Arrow after arrow hit the target, no misses.
Mm-hmm. It even says you heard the drum beats marking the hits, but you didn't hear the sound of the bow and arrow. Like silent, perfect accuracy.
So good. The magistrate himself is just stupefied, gobsmacked.
Which immediately brings up the question, okay, who taught these guys?
Right. The magistrate asks, and Wang Yi kind of playfully says, it's our teacher.
And Tang Kuai clarifies, revealing their master is Zhu Dong, this renowned figure from Guangxi.
That connection changes the whole dynamic, doesn't it?
Definitely. You can feel the magistrate's reaction, surprise, delight.
He practically shouts, your master is old Mr. Zhu Dong. He's a good friend. Haven't seen him in ages.
And he immediately sends someone to invite Zhu Dong over. It shows Zhu Dong is clearly a big deal, highly respected.
Yeah. And looking at the bigger picture, Zhu Dong arrives with Yufei.
He does, and their conversation tells us so much about Zhu Dong's character, especially his ideas about mentorship.
How so?
Well, the magistrate asks why he hasn't visited, and Zhu Dong explains he avoids towns where people tend to get into lawsuits.
Oh, interesting reason.
Yeah. He says it's to avoid situations where he might be asked to step in or show favoritism that could compromise either the law or their friendship.
Wow. That really speaks volumes about his integrity, doesn't it? His commitment to being impartial.
Exactly. Foundational stuff for a great mentor.
It really is a sign of his wisdom.
Yeah.
So they chat a bit, catch up about families.
Mm-hmm.
The magistrate mentions his daughter. Zhou Dong mentions his wife passed away years ago, same as the magistrates.
Mm-hmm. Polite conversation.
And then Zhou Dong makes this, well, quite dramatic introduction. He calls out, my son, come greet your uncle.
And Yufei steps forward. The magistrate is sort of amused at first, thinks Zhao Dong's joking.
Right, he asks, "Brother, when did you have a son like this?"
But Zhao Dong clarifies. He says, while the magistrate's daughter is his own flesh and blood, Yu Fei is his adopted son. A foster child.
And this adoption detail, it's more than just family background, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It deepens the whole theme of mentorship. It shows Zhao Dong's investment isn't just in teaching skills, but in the whole person. It sets the stage for Yu Fei.
Really lays the groundwork. So the magistrate, maybe out of respect for Zudong, offers to just pass Yu Fei on his archery skills. No need for a test.
Yeah, he says something like, "Your students are so good, your son must be even better. Why test him?"
But Zudong insists. Fairness, transparency. He says, this is about choosing talent for the nation. It has to be impartial. We need to convince the public.
That insistence on objective proof, it's a powerful point. True merit.
Definitely. So the magistrate suggests moving the target closer for Yu Fei. Yeah, maybe make it a bit easier.
But Yu Fei asks for it to be moved further than the 120 paces.
And then asks again.
The magistrate must be thinking, okay, who is this kid? He asks Zudong, how far can your son actually shoot?
And Zudong's reply is just incredible. He says something like, my son, he's young, but he handles a hard bow. Might be able to shoot 240 paces.
204, that's double the distance the other shot.
Exactly. Magistrate praises him, but you get the sense he's maybe a little skeptical inside. Still, he orders the target set at 240 paces.
And this is where the legend really kicks off.
Totally.
The source tells us about Yu Fei's bow, the Shenbi bow, taught by Zudong, draws over 300 caddies, and he can shoot with both left and right hands.
The skill level is just staggering. For a 16-year-old to have that strength, that ambidextrous skill, I mean, what kind of training must that involve?
Years and years of intense dedication, no doubt.
And then comes the defining moment. Yu Fei steps down, takes his stance, nocks an arrow.
And fires off 9 arrows, bang, 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 one after another, so fast, the drummer keeping count only stopped when the 9th arrow hit.
The crowd just erupts. Total chaos, cheers everywhere.
The other military cadets, stunned, silent. Even his buddies, Tang Huai, Zhang Xian, Wang Yi, they're just clapping, totally amazed.
Right. And the report that comes back from the target.
It's the clincher. This young man is truly extraordinary. 9 arrows shot through a single hole. The arrows are piled up.
Not just hitting the target, hitting the exact same tiny spot 9 times in a row.
It's mastery on a whole different level. Utterly undeniable skill.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And it changes absolutely everything for Yu Fei right then and there.
Yeah, this isn't just impressive archery. It's the perfect example of how unmatched skill, when it's showcased so undeniably, just creates these immediate life-altering chances.
The magistrate is just ecstatic, over the moon. He immediately asks, how old is your son? Is he married?
Quick questions. Getting straight to the point.
Zudong says he's 16, not engaged yet.
And stepping back, you see the magistrate, Li Chun, he doesn't waste a second, not one.
No hesitation.
He proposes right there, on the spot, that his own daughter be betrothed to Yu Fei.
Wow. Just like that.
Just like that. Zudong humbly accepts, saying something like he fears they cannot climb so high, being matched with the magistrate's family.
Light refusal almost.
But the magistrate insists, seals the deal for the very next day. It's this massive pivot in Yu Fei's destiny, triggered directly by that single incredible display of talent.
So, yeah, one unbelievable show of skill, honed by years of dedicated mentorship, and Yu Fei's entire future is set.
He bows to his new father-in-law. Zudong is secretly overjoyed, you can imagine.
Oh, for sure. Then they leave, head back to their village. Just an incredible change in trajectory, all thanks to that moment of sheer talent, guided by a great mentor.
Next morning, magistrate's clerk shows up at Zhao Tong's place. He's delivering a young lady's zheng tai, those birth details for a marriage arrangement.
Right, the zheng tai.
Yeah.
But the depth here, it's in what happens next, the sheer significance of this simple delivery. So Yu Fei's mother receives it, and she looks at it and discovers something pretty remarkable. The young lady's birth details, year, month, day, and hour, they're identical to Yu Fei's. Exactly the same.
Wow, identical.
Identical. And the text, it specifically calls this biher, which is, well, it's a profound sign. Almost like an undeniable stamp of a destined marriage.
That's a powerful idea, isn't it? Preordained destiny. But, couldn't you argue that finding an exact match like that, maybe it's just a convenient justification, for an arranged marriage rather than some truly mystical sign? How does the text really want us to see that?
That's a really sharp question. And it touches on how these ancient texts often blend, cultural practices with deeper beliefs. And yes, okay, on one level, it could rationalize the match. But the narrative, it leans hard into the idea of genuine cosmic alignment. It's really presented as this moment of awe. The implication is that some connections are just meant to be. It points towards a really significant shared future for them. So I'd say it's less about justifying the arrangement and more about revealing a kind of pre-existing truth, highlighting why this union is so important for Yufei's path.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like some connections are just so perfectly aligned they feel like fate. So after this extraordinary revelation, the story shifts gears a bit. We move to a gesture of gratitude. Zhu Tong and Yufei, they head off to the county office to thank Magistrate Li.
Right, a customary social visit.
Yeah.
Standard procedure.
Yeah.
They do the formal greetings, share a meal, and then Li Magistrate notices something. He realizes they arrived on foot, so he offers Yufei a horse from his unsold stock. It's presented as just a simple gesture of goodwill, helping them out with travel. But as you said, let's peel back another layer here. How does this seemingly simple gift start to give us a deeper understanding of Yufei?
And that understanding starts almost immediately, doesn't it? Because Zhao Tong very wisely tells Yufei, choose carefully. He stresses, a gift horse. Once you accept it, you can't just give it back.
And Yufei definitely takes that advice to heart. He starts looking over several good-looking horses. Apparently he liked white ones initially, but despite how nice they looked, he finds them all weak. He presses down on their legs and they just sink. He tries a few, and nope, all the same. It's that classic thing, right? Appearance versus actual substance.
He's so discerning. It's while everyone else is admiring the shiny Yufei's checking the engine and the suspension. He just dismisses these flashy horses, says they're only good for, rich young masters riding with beautiful saddles for leisure rides.
Exactly.
For him, a horse has to be capable of going into battle, engaging in combat, helping the country achieve great things, and earning personal glory. I mean, this isn't just picking out a ride. It's a powerful statement about matching your tools and maybe even your relationships to your ultimate purpose. He refuses to settle for anything less than real capability.
Absolutely. It tells you everything, really, about his ambitions, his future aspirations. He's not just looking for transportation. He's looking for a partner. And what he sees is his destiny, something genuinely capable of serving this grander vision. And right at that moment, just as he's expressing these incredibly high standards, the narrative takes a dramatic turn.
Yes, suddenly there's this loud neigh erupts from a nearby stable.
And Yufei's reaction, it's immediate.
Yeah.
Almost instinctual, like you said. He hasn't even seen the horse, but he just declares, that's the sound of a good horse.
Just like that, from the sound alone. That's
Yeah.
quite a claim. How does he know? What's his reasoning?
Simple logic, apparently.
Yeah.
He explained it quite plainly. The horse's sound is loud and resonant, so it must be powerful. And guess what? Lay Magistrate confirms it. He admits, this particular horse, one his servant Zhu Tianlu bought up north. It is immensely powerful, but, and this is but it's completely untamable.
Untamable.
Utterly.
Yeah.
Kicks, bites. Li says it's been returned 5 or 6 times already. They have to keep it locked away because it's so dangerous. Which, really brings up an important question for us, doesn't it? What does it actually take to recognize real potential, especially when it's hidden away, or maybe even seen as unmanageable by everyone else?
Makes you wonder, right? How often do we overlook something genuinely powerful just because it doesn't fit neatly? Or because it requires, effort to handle? So, despite all the warnings from Li, from the horseman, about how dangerous it is, Yufei asks to see it. He's not put off at all.
Not in the slightest. He is completely undeterred. So the moment they bring the horse out, Yufei takes off his haking, that's his outer robe, clearly preparing for whatever comes next, and the horse immediately attacks, kicking, biting, just like they warned.
But Yufei
is incredibly quick. He dodges the attacks, skillfully avoids getting hurt, and then, seizing just the right moment, he grabs the horse's mane. Firmly.
Okay.
And after a few strikes and texts, several strikes, the horse just stops fighting, dares not move.
Wow. So he basically walks up to this creature everyone else considers this wild, untamable beast and just masters it. Says, nope, you're coming with me. It's an incredible display, isn't it? Not just physical skill, but sheer will.
Exactly. And what's really insightful is how the scene ends. It concludes with this proverb. A swift steed meets its discerning judge. It runs into Wang Liang. Now, Wang Liang was this legendary charioteer famous for being able to handle any horse. So this isn't just, Yufei taming a wild animal. It's about him asserting his will, his deep understanding. It highlights his innate ability to recognize and master true power that others couldn't even get near. It shows us, really, that true potential often needs that discerning eye and, yeah, a firm hand to actually be unleashed.